Africa's role in World War I. World War I, also known as the Great War, was a global conflict that spanned from 1914 to 1918 and involved many nations across different continents. Africa played a significant yet often overlooked role in this monumental conflict. From the involvement of African soldiers to the strategic battles fought on African soil, the continent's contributions and experiences during the war were profound and far-reaching. African soldiers in the war. One of the most direct contributions Africa made to World War I was through its soldiers. Colonial powers such as Britain, France, Germany, Belgium, and Portugal recruited heavily from their African colonies. These soldiers, often referred to as Askari in East Africa and Tirailleurs Sénégalais in West Africa, played crucial roles in various theatres of the war. British West African Frontier Force. The British recruited thousands of soldiers from their colonies, including Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia. These troops served in different capacities, from frontline combat to logistical support. French Tirailleurs Sénégalais. France mobilized a significant number of troops from its West African colonies, primarily from Senegal. These soldiers were deployed on the Western Front in Europe, where they faced the harsh realities of trench warfare. German Schutztruppe. Germany utilized African soldiers in its colonies, particularly in German East Africa, modern-day Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. Led by General Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck, the Schutztruppe engaged in guerrilla warfare against Allied forces, tying down significant enemy resources. Campaigns and battles in Africa. Africa was not just a source of manpower, it was also a battleground. Several significant campaigns took place on the continent, each contributing to the broader scope of the war. East African Campaign. One of the longest and most complex campaigns of the war, it involved British, Belgian, and Portuguese forces fighting against the German Schutztruppe. General Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck's effective guerrilla tactics ensured that German East Africa remained a thorn in the side of the Allies throughout the war. West African campaigns. In Togoland, modern-day Togo, and the Cameroon, modern-day Cameroon, British and French forces launched operations to wrest control from the Germans. These campaigns were characterized by difficult terrain and harsh conditions. North African Theatre. While North Africa was relatively quiet compared to other regions, there were notable engagements involving colonial troops, such as the Senussi campaign in Libya, where British and Italian forces fought against the Senussi, who were allied with the Ottoman Empire and Germany. Economic and social impact. The war had a significant economic and social impact on African societies. The demands of the war effort led to increased exploitation of Africa's natural resources and labor force. Economic exploitation. Colonies were expected to provide raw materials such as rubber, timber, and minerals essential for the war industry. This often resulted in forced labor and harsh working conditions for Africans. Social disruption. The recruitment of soldiers and laborers disrupted traditional societies and economies. Many communities were left without their able-bodied men, which affected agricultural production and social structures. Post-war consequences. The end of the war brought about changes in colonial administration and sparked political consciousness among African populations. The contribution and sacrifices made by Africans during the war fueled nationalist movements and demands for greater autonomy and independence in the decades that followed. Africa's role in World War I was multifaceted and significant. From providing soldiers and resources to being a battleground for key campaigns, the continent's involvement had a profound impact on the course of the war and its aftermath. The sacrifices and contributions of African soldiers and civilians not only shaped the outcome of the Great War but also sowed the seeds for future struggles for independence and self-determination across the continent. Recognizing Africa's role in World War I is essential to understanding the global nature of the conflict and its lasting legacy on world history.